What's up, everybody? Jack Farr here on behalf of Box to Box Football, doing another transfer window tier list video today on Real Madrid. It's the video where I talk about the players within the Real Madrid squad come this summer transfer window and talk about what Real Madrid's position on them should be. Should they be sold for a certain amount, kept no matter what, released, just gotten rid of? What I'm going to do now is just do a quick kind of go through on how the video is going to work and how I come to the decisions I make. But for those of you who know how the video works, please feel free to fast forward a minute or so to get through to the video itself. So first of all, important to understand, because we've had a couple of viewers who weren't so sure on this, not every single player is going to be sold. If I do put somebody in a sell for above value price or sell for their valuation price, that's fine. But Real Madrid, and in this example, Real Madrid can only control what they can control. It's not as simple as putting a player and having your position and stance on them being, hey, if we receive this amount for them, they'll get sold. That bid may never come in. So it's important to mention that when a player gets sold, there's a reevaluation process going on the whole time. Just because there are 10, 15 players in a sell column does not mean they're all going to get sold. Now, how do we sort them into these columns? Well, we're going to be looking at the contract status of the player, when the contract expires, how much money they are currently earning at the moment, the age of the player, very important as well. Performance of the player, arguably the most important thing as well, and obviously the player's value as well, according to the fantastic, as always, transfer marked. There's a bunch of other factors too, off the field, on the field, relationships within the squad, etc., etc. But we'll get into those as we go through. I enjoy these videos so much. There's no notes, no planning, and we can just do this, you and I, live. And we can just see where we end up. Sometimes we'll be talking about potentially accepting bids for players if a crazy bid comes in for some of the best players. So we'll see what happens here with Real Madrid. Also, I cut my own hair. So in the comments section, I'd love a W or an L. Let me know whether you think I did a good job or not. I'm still kind of a little undecided here. So I'm just going to get to doing a screen recording here. So here we go, record. Okay, now hopefully you're with me now and I'm in the corner of the screen. You can see here we've got keep no matter what or extend the contract, pretty straightforward. Whether a value, above value or anything like that offer comes in for a player, are you just going to keep the player? Or because their contract's coming down, do you need them to sign an extension? Pretty straightforward. Sell for greater than value. So if a player's in this column, if a player is worth £50 million and an offer comes in for £60 or £70 million, maybe you sell because it's above value. Sell for value. So as I've said, if transfer marks value you at a certain amount, if that offer comes in, do you potentially accept that amount? Ideally, we always want as much money as humanly possible, but I think it's important to be realistic here and know that for certain players, you're not always going to get above market price. Loan out, usually a position for the kids, but for example, for the Chelsea video, I put Kepa Arrizabalaga in the loan out column because I thought potentially that may be good for him. Sell or release, sell for less than value or release. These are players, largely speaking, you just want out of the club, off the books, and there's no real money to be made from them. So anyway, you can see you've got my little tiles here for the Real Madrid squad, and I think we should just get started. Let me check how we're doing for time. How long was that intro? Not too bad. So what I've done in the past is gone goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, strikers, and I realised that goalkeepers can be a bit boring, defenders potentially can be a bit boring, so I'm just going to do it based off the list here. So first of all, I'm looking at this little picture. I believe that is Mr. Asensio. So what we're going to do is pull him up on Transfermarkt, see what he's valued at, take a look at some of that information that I talked about that is important. So age, nationality can be important too for Spain, non-EU, with their squad registration. So we've got a 25-year-old, just turned 25, £31.5 million. Good position versatility. We've got him here, they've got him down here now as a right winger, left winger. He could really play in 10. I also would give somebody like Asensio credit to potentially play as an 8 as well. I think he's a clever player. Contract expires in 2023. Signed from Mallorca for £3.15 million, which is a great little signing. Not a lot in the starting 11 or the minutes columns here. Couple of goals, couple of assists. With his contract status there expiring in 2023, so once we get to summer 2021, there's still 2 years left there, and he's going to be about 27. And you'd imagine at that point, Real Madrid are going to want to be in a position where they can decide, right, this is our guy, let's go for it. Or they can go, you know what, we're a year further along here, or, you know, we're in the summer, we're in the January transfer window, 18 months away here. It's actually quite tricky. I think you've got to keep hold of him. I always like Asensio. I know that a lot of people think, you know, potentially a little overrated, and, you know, the goals and assists there don't look great. Starting 11 minutes, goal participation, it's not all brilliant and roses, but I don't know if he's ever truly gotten the rub of playing consistently. I mean, this is quite shocking, actually, guys. 81 million valuation in 2018. I think you keep hold of him. I think that even if an offer comes in for 35 or 40 mil, I think you have to say that you're probably going to keep him if you're Real Madrid. I'll be interested to see what people think of that, because I'm sure that there'll be some fans out there saying, "Oh, if something like that comes in, sell him." But I think Asensio is the type of player who might come back and bite you potentially at some point. So Brahim Diaz, currently on loan at AC Milan. And Real Madrid fans, I know you're a passionate bunch. We've got a keen fan, Sammy. Forgotten the numbers on his app, but there's a guy who likes to interact with us a lot. I believe his name on Twitter is like #PerezOut. So I'd love to open a dialogue, maybe in the comments on Twitter. Let me know what you think of some of my choices here. So Brahim Diaz on loan at Milan. He's been okay, not really started, and understandable. You know, Milan have been great this year. Fallen off a little recently, but they've been great. 21 years old, still 2025 for the contract, and obviously, you know, there's that relatively cheap signing from Man City. I think you've got to see what he becomes. 12.6 mil valuation at the moment. Guys, I'm sorry this is potentially kind of a boring start here, but I think he's still early in his time with Real Madrid, and obviously he's gone on Milan to get, experience, I guess, or maybe some development in another league. Position versatility, Spanish, 21 years old. Everything points to the right thing here. I think if he was worth upwards of the 25, 30s, you'd consider maybe selling him because you just make a quick profit from him. But at this point, I think you just let him come back after his time in Milan. And I'll be honest, 15 appearances, goal, 3 assists, mostly off the bench. Could do a lot worse there. Mr. Benzema, Karim Benzema. Now, I've got to tread lightly here because I know Real Madrid fans love this guy. And to be fair, I love this guy. I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago, I was a little bit like, he's got all these fantastic midfielders helping him, and Cristiano Ronaldo and all these fantastic Real Madrid players. Is he that important? Is he that good? I think since Ronaldo is gone, he's really proven how fantastic he is. Regardless of who's playing with him. See, contract expires in 2022. So next season, we're in the final year of his contract next season. By midway through the year, he'll be 34. 12 goals, 5 assists this year. Valued at 22.5 mil. Now, here's what I'd say. He's been at the club a long time. Joined in 2009. Man, that feels... God, that's a long time ago now. Been at the club a long, long time. My thing is we'll get on to Luka Jovic in a second, and obviously the conversations with Erling Haaland are happening now. What you do with Benzema this summer is actually largely got nothing to do with Benzema. It's going to be on what you're going to do with either the players coming in or coming back. Luka Jovic and potentially somebody like Mbappe or Erling Haaland available, both of them supposedly available, maybe even Neymar. I know there's all this talk about Neymar signing a new deal at PSG, but, Benzema is the old dog, and he's been faithful and he's been fantastic, and he still is. I think in a dream world here, you'd want to keep him on for like one more year, maybe. Take him till he's 35, even if he's a sub. I'm looking at the likes of, Olivier Giroud, what they can still bring to the table. Edin Dzeko from Roma is still strong. Obviously, you've got people like Zlatan, Cristiano Ronaldo. I know they're kind of freaks of nature, but mid-30s for a player in the style of Karim Benzema, I think is still doable and will still be able to do enough. So, a 25, 30 million pound bid, are you going to take kind of a club legend away for that? I know this is kind of dull, but I'd say it's probably more important at this point to keep Asensio or Brahim Diaz just for the future and long term. But I think, Benzema easily falls into either of these two columns if Erling Braut Haaland signs, which we can't rule out. Kylian Mbappe signs, Jovic comes back and they're happy to go ahead with him. But I think he stays up here if none of those come through. And obviously, like I said at the beginning of the video, we're basing this, it's what Real Madrid's stance on players should be. It's not like, oh, this means they're going to be sold. This isn't career mode. I had some joker in the Liverpool, I did a Liverpool video, and he was like, you can't just sell 15 players. And I was like, well, I'm not. It's a stance. If somebody bids 120 mil for Mo Salah, you take it. Who's bidding 120 mil for Mo Salah? I don't think anybody is. So, Benzema is one very dependent on what happens in the summer, but I think the stance should be at least for one more year. Even run down his contract. Just keep him, but maybe try and get him to sign a 1-year extension. Dani Carvajal. I think this guy is really overrated. I think Achraf Hakimi is twice the player he is, and letting him go was not smart. 29 years old, 36 mil. 4 assists in 11 appearances. Keeps getting hurt. I think you sell at value here. Contract expires 2022. I think you just sell at value here. 36 mil. Honestly, this, I guess, my own kind of opinions coming in now. With the injury history, I don't think he's as good as some other options out there. Academy kid, sure. But especially with that contract expiring, I don't think you want to give Dani Carvajal another 4-year deal. And he might even want a 5-year deal. But, I wouldn't give him another 4-year deal. When's his birthday, actually? January. Okay, so he's just 29. But still, I don't think you want to give him another long-term deal. I think Real Madrid can upgrade at the right-back position. I really do. And I think they had the right upgrade available to them. And they let him go, and they kind of rode the wrong horse there. But very interesting with the contract expiry in 2022. With a year left on the deal, are you even going to get 36? Then I'd kind of wonder, do you want to just sell for 30, put him down here? But I think, to be fair, part of that fantastic team that won the three-peat, I think you got to leave him there. And I'll be honest with you guys, if you're still here with me. Real Madrid might be the most excited that I've been for one of these videos. There's so much potential change here. Benzema getting older. That midfield three is still the exact same as it's been for such a long time. Nearly all the defenders want to leave. There's a lot going on here. Lots of good quality players out on loan that you need to decide with. Gareth Bale, who we'll get to. First of all, Casemiro, £63 million. Wow, that is one hell of a value. Contract expires in 2023, so I don't think Real Madrid are going to feel particularly pressured to give him a new deal. And, right now, is he playing at that kind of level where you would turn down like 70, 75 mil for him? I'm not so sure. For a 29-year-old, just 29 to be fair, I think you want to keep him. But my question to you Real Madrid fans out there, let me know here, because you want to, and like I said, this is why this is so important. If I'm going to put Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro all in the sold thing, you go, oh, you're going to sell a whole midfield. Like, guys, do you really think an offer of above value or for value for these three players is going to come in? And like I said at the beginning of the video, when one player sells, you reevaluate your options in this list. It's not, oh, that's what we're sticking to and boom, that's done. Karim Benzema is my best example. Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe comes in, I'd probably happily sell Benzema. I mean, he's a really luxury backup, but I think you'd be happy with some of the other attacking options you have as backup. So I think if an offer comes in for 70 mil, 75 mil for Casemiro, I think that's worth considering. And I like Casemiro. Right, Courtois, let's have a look here. 67.5 mil, man. I know that, Real Madrid fans aren't totally in love with Courtois. Tough act to follow somebody like, Iker Casillas. Has he been that good, Played all games, fair play to him. Bought for 31.5. I think that a team like Real Madrid could upgrade to somebody like, well, I say upgrade, maybe not at the moment, but get somebody like David De Gea. Guys, I bring this up nearly every video with goalkeepers. Gigi Donnarumma has not signed terms yet with Milan. I'm expecting him to. I think that, let's remember his agent is Mino Raiola. And it's going to be incredibly likely that somebody like Donnarumma is going to say, well, look, Real Madrid offered me this, Chelsea offered me this, Manchester City offered me this, PSG offered me this, Bayern offered me this, now Milan, what are you going to offer me? I think he does want to stay in Italy. But I can't rule out the idea here that if you can get, similar to Casemiro, if you can get 70, 75 million for Thibaut Courtois when you bought him for 31.5 million, that's a steal. That is a steal. And then you can put all that money into trying to tempt somebody like like Donnarumma to your club, or making a final play for David De Gea, who you may have always wanted. There's some other really nice goalkeepers who are still around, who may well be available. I don't think Courtois has blown anybody away with any of his performances here. Eder Militao. Let's have a look here. See if I can even spell properly. Militao. There he is. 23 years old. £27 million. Brazilian. So correct me where I'm wrong, Real Madrid fans. With his citizenship, he will be occupying one of the 3 non-EU spots in your squad. Starting 11, 13% of the time, 11% of minutes. Contract expires 2025, 27 mil. I think there's still enough there to work with that you want to keep hold of him. I feel probably stronger about keeping him. Probably just more than Diaz and Benzema. I mean, 23, I don't love the fact that somebody like him, who's not even really starting, is taking one of those non-EU spots. You want that flexibility. South America has so much talent in that region. Man, paid a lot for him. But I think with the other defenders who we'll get onto here, who I think, contracts are coming up, retirements potentially, or moves away, not at the required level anymore. I think you want to keep somebody like Eder Militao around. I think that's a pretty straightforward one. I don't know if anybody would disagree with me there. Okay, Gareth Bale. Here we go. Now we're getting into some fun. How are we doing for time? 20 minutes, okay. 18 mil valuation for Gareth Bale. I think this one's pretty straightforward. You want to release or sell for less than value. it's less about the transfer fee, and it's a lot more about just getting him, him off the wage bill. Are Tottenham going to go for him? I doubt it. He's going to have to dramatically drop his wage demands. And I don't know if Bale cares. I hate to say it. I think he likes. I think he likes his football and this stuff, but how many Champions Leagues is this guy won? 4 La Liga titles. Wales are never going to win a Euros or a World Cup. Is he? He's not due for a Ballon d'Or anytime soon. I think you borderline release him, honestly, because if a club's not willing to just take a punt on just his wages, you need to come to some sort of agreement which says, look, we'll let you do whatever you want to do. We'll release you from your contract. Bale's going to want his money, but maybe you can come to some sort of agreement where you don't have to pay him the full amount of his contract that's owed, and then let Bale, negotiate terms with another team. It's just a soured relationship at this point, and I feel bad all round. This was Ronaldo, right? This guy was signed because he was going to be Ronaldo. Don't worry, guys, we've got Ronaldo. This is our replacement Ronaldo, and it was never going to pan out that way. Bale needs to be the star man in your team. With the way he plays, shots, the shots he takes, all this kind of stuff. It's why I thought him coming back to Tottenham would be really cool. It hasn't perfectly panned out yet. There's no way I think you're going to use Gareth Bale next season, especially if the manager's Zidane. I just think the relationship is totally broken down. Anyway, right, Eden Hazard. Interesting one. This has not gone well, has it? Look at these Premier League elite players who've gone to Real Madrid and just kind of... we can't say that Bale didn't do well at Real Madrid. Of course we can't, but... Man, it's not been pretty for Hazard since he joined, has it? Just fall off a cliff in terms of value. Just turned 30. 45 mil. I think you've got to keep hold of him. I know that, I know that it's not been brilliant and Real Madrid fans will have wanted more, but anybody who's watched Hazard play for Chelsea knows what he can be. And I don't think just having turned 30 that you can say that, he's not that guy anymore. I still think he's got that ability to just take a game by the scruff of the neck in him still. The other thing as well, sell for value, 45, probably not. Above value, 50, 55, after you paid 103, million for him. I still think he's got plenty to offer over the next couple of years. And you can make a decision then, because he'll still have some sort of value then if you want to try and sell him and get him off the books. So I think you've got to keep Hazard. I think that experiment, whatever you want to call it, still needs to be gone till the end. He's not been there long enough, and obviously he has been hurt. So I think you do want to make sure that you're getting the best from him. Because Hazard is the type of player who, if Hazard gets a transfer back to the Premier League, what he could achieve, or even somewhere like Italy or PSG, or I still think he could come back and hurt you. So I think you got to just let that go. Isco, about to turn 29. Contract expires 2022. You got to sell Isco. A little bit of a shame. I was hoping for more out of Isco's career. I got to be honest. I know this is a guy. I see the 4 Champions Leagues. I see him. But I've got to be honest. I thought Isco was going to just really take over. I was waiting to be excited by this guy, and he's just not really gone for it. 27 mil, valued at 18. I think you'd be a bit disappointed to get 18, even if he has a year left. I think you'd still want a little bit more. Um, you know, but I've got a feeling that if Real Madrid price him out of a move, he's just going to run down his contract and sign where he wants to sign. Real Madrid have to kind of play that one nicely, or else that might not go so well. But I think, yeah, this kind of Isco experiment, if you want to call it that, hasn't been brilliant. Is all I'm trying to say. Wants to join Sevilla. Here we go. I don't know how old this is. Can you guys see that on the side? Real Madrid's Isco wants to join Sevilla. Zidane vetoes against transfer. Let's click on that, actually. Let's go down this rabbit hole a little bit. Switching between bench and starting 11. Market value dropped. According to AS, Isco, who's been linked with Arsenal and Everton, decided on a move to Sevilla, where Lopetegui is in charge. He's vetoed it for the time being. Isco worth about 30 million for Real Madrid. I don't know if they get, 30 million euros. Maybe they get that. Maybe. But yeah, time's kind of coming to an end there. But I still think 18 million pounds. That's a little bit of a kick in the teeth at this point, because I still think he can be something. And it's not like this, this guy's old. He really should be kind of prime of his career level right now. So yeah, there we go. Right, Toni Kroos. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Like I said, the reason why I'm so excited to do the Real Madrid one is nearly every player, you could find out a decent reason why you'd want to let him go. Or move on to something else. And obviously Real Madrid not spending so much money recently in the transfer market, it's going to be a lot of changes at this club over the next 2 years, maybe even next year, but I would expect the next 2 years, mass changes at the club. Starting 11 is going to look so different. Toni Kroos you've got to sell for 45. He's still brilliant. I know he's just turned 31, but that's a lot of money. Man, his style of play isn't that physically demanding, though. He's a dictator. You'd say he's a smarter player over anything else. He's got a hell of a shot on him. Can really hurt you from deep. Very composed on the ball. Just turned 31. Do you just wind his contract down? Casemiro's value he's a bit younger, but his value was so much more than Kroos's. I think Casemiro requires a little more physicality. I really like Toni Kroos. How much was he signed for? Just let him go down as a club legend, keep him. People are probably going to disagree with that. I don't feel super strong about it. I'd put him even below Benzema. I think if you can get, 50 mil for Toni Kroos at this point, great, good for you. But I think that, I don't know, there's something about Toni Kroos. If you're making me pick between those three midfielders, Casemiro, Modric, Toni Kroos, I think Kroos is my favourite. World Cup winner. I mean, guys, let me know what you think. Should Kroos go? Are you selling him for above value? Are you selling him for 45, or do you think you should keep hold of him? Let me know what you think. I think you want to keep him. I don't know why, but I've just got this kind of, maybe I'm going with heart over head here, but I feel like Toni Kroos is, the reason why he's at the bottom is because I don't think you'd mind selling him for above value, but I think of the three, he might be one you need to keep. Still at that point in his career where he can kind of be that veteran guy and, allow the young guys around him, just be a calming influence. Anyway. Right, let's go to a kid who has been on loan a lot and has also been pinned with the tag of the next Messi, or the whatever, Japanese Messi. Takefusa Kubo is currently on loan at Getafe. 21 appearances, no goals, no assists. Current value, £18 million. I can't help but feel like this kid is going to just keep getting loaned out because Real Madrid don't know what to do with him. How much was he signed for? Free transfer from FC Tokyo. Wow, okay. And they've made money from him in loan fees. That's hilarious. Do you just keep loaning him out? The thing that bothers me here is if he doesn't get game time, which it doesn't really seem like he's getting, is it worth just selling him? Is this just another kid who's gonna, but then does that come back and bite you at some point? You can keep loaning him out. Maybe try a league that's not. The Spanish league. Why not? Why not loan him out to somewhere like the Bundesliga? We've seen the success of young kids going to the Bundesliga. The German clubs really seem to have it figured out in terms of developing youth talent. I know Dortmund stick out like a sore thumb, but even somebody like Demarai Gray has gone to Leverkusen. I think in 2 appearances has like 3 or 4 goal contributions. So, Demarai Gray is probably a better player at this point than this Kubo kid. But, you never know what he could be. And then you've got him contracted there until 2024. I don't see why you can't just try and get that value to go up and up and up. And then you either have him as an option in the future, or you can sell him then. I feel okay with that, loaning him out again. Who we got there? Jovic. This is interesting. Now, yet again, this obviously impacts what happens with Benzema, and I get it. I totally get it. Because chances are one of Mbappe or Haaland is going to be a Real Madrid player next year, I would expect. Contract with Real Madrid till 2025. 7 appearances, 3 goals in the Bundesliga so far. He's been solid enough. Has it really worked out? 56.7 mil. I just don't know if you can swallow a loss like that now that he's valued at 18 mil. I think you've got to give him another shot in the team. And failing giving him another shot in the team, I think you'd need to try and just get as much money back from him as you can. I'm tempted to loan him out again. Maybe you should do that. Yeah, let's do that. Loan him out again. Because I don't know what it is, but he's clearly having way more success either in Germany or just loaned out in another league. Was it Benfica, then went to Frankfurt. You just keep loaning him out, wait for that value to jump back up. He was that year with Eintracht Frankfurt, he was unbelievable. Which is why Real Madrid signed him. And understandable. I just don't think you can take that much of a loss. And guys, he's 23. This guy could still become something that you'll then regret. So I think you keep loaning him out. And then if he comes good at Real Madrid, great. If he doesn't and he starts performing more elsewhere, his value will go up and then you sell him for that amount. I kind of feel okay about that. Okay. Andriy Lunin, 22 years old, market value £2.7 million. Let's have a look. Ukrainian international, 2.7, hasn't played this year, contract till 2024. Can't be on much money, if any at all. Solid backup. I don't know what else to say. Don't feel strongly about it. If they do like him, then brilliant. Odegaard's interesting though, and I'll be interested to see what people's opinions are now, and especially seeing as, obviously, especially the British audience has now seen him a little more, handful of games for Arsenal, what he is, what he can become. 22 years old, 23 at the end of, the end of the year. No assists or goals there in that Premier League slot, but a lot of key passes, knitting things together very nicely. Contract till 2023. So come this summer, there'll be 2 years left. I think that leaves Real Madrid in actually a really strong position. I think because you bring him back, this is just me, but I'd bring him back. I think you'd argue he's more important than Asensio at this point. I know it sounds crazy, but just because of what he can be. I'm going to put him there. I think that you bring him back for a year. Maybe I'll go big camera here. You bring him back for a year, and we'll just see how he does. And you say, hey, man, look, this is your time to show us that you're worth keeping around. If not, with a year left on your deal next year, or maybe even in January, maybe you give him half a year, so there's 18 months left on his contract. Then you can say, hey, Arsenal, hey, whoever else, would you like a chance to sign Martin Odegaard? I see the 36 million valuation. I haven't forgotten. They got him for 2.52 mil. It's tempting to sell for value or even above value and go, hey, we did a really good thing here, 36. But with the midfielders moving on, with your Cruzes, Modric, Casemiro, with that kind of winding down, you need to refresh that, and the attack needs a refresh too. So if Odegaard's going to play as that kind of 8 within that midfield 3, or if he's going to work somewhere in the attacking 3, next season I think is your season to find out if you're Real Madrid. And then, after that, maybe field some calls, maybe even half a year, like I said. Get to January of next year and go, right, he's had half a season. We like what we see. We don't like what we see. We think he'll be long-term on, so we don't. And then kind of move from there. I just don't think, Odegaard, especially because of his age, what is he? He's 22, he's going to be 23 soon. Right, Marcelo. The laziest man in football right now. This guy's a club legend. I think you just got to let him do whatever he wants. Because the value's not there. He must be earning a pretty penny. Ferland Mendy is clearly the long-term answer at left back. He's not playing much in terms of minutes. Doesn't track back at all. This guy's a club legend. So guys, honestly, he's as good as he is here. And what I mean by that is, like, if he wants to go and he's got a good offer from a good club, I think you just accept whatever the offer is. But then again, if he wants to stay, you keep him. So I'm looking forward to people who only watch the end of the video and then go, I can't believe they're going to keep Marcelo no matter what. Now, what I'm saying is, usually it's up to him. If he wants to stay for another year and be a backup and he's happy with that, great. But if not, I'm going to put him down here because you want to let him decide. I think he's been such a fantastic player for this team for so long. 9 mil. I mean, difference between getting 9 mil and getting, 4 mil, 3 mil, big deal. I think you take a loss like that on somebody. Dude, I have no idea who that is. Right, let's do Borja Mayoral, because I have no idea who that is. Am I crazy? Who the hell is that? Yeah, maybe I'll need to zoom in. Anyway, Borja Mayoral. So I'm a Roma fan, as many of you may know, and he's been doing pretty well this year. I think that if anybody expected Mayoral to score the goals he has scored this year, that you'd be going, not so sure about that. Has been enough competition for Dzeko, and Dzeko's obviously had his issues with Paulo Fonseca. So 17 appearances, 6 goals, 4 assists. Europa League 2, let's have a look. 8 appearances, 5 goals, 1 assist. Coppa Italia, 1 assist, 1 appearance. So he's been really good. I can't remember what the option. Oh God, we've got these videos going again, do we? I can't remember what the option to buy was. I want to say it was like 20 million euros, maybe. I don't think Borja Mayoral is a good enough striker for Real Madrid. That's all I'll say. I think the hope here has to be that Roma take the option to buy. Or that he does even better than he's already done at Roma. And then, you know, you can then try and sell for, because 9 mil is nothing. You're gonna be frustrated with that. So I think, yeah, sell for above value there. That's a pretty easy one. Dude, I need to find out who that last player is. Jesus, am I nuts? Who the hell is that? Right, Ferland Mendy, I think is going to be a keep all day long. Obviously, very important there. Check what we're doing for time, 40 minutes. Okay, we've got to kind of motor through here this last bit. Left back, 25 years old, market value 36 mil, playing well at the moment. You know, yeah, he's a keep, isn't he? He's a keep. That's actually kind of an easy one. Ferland Mendy, is he more important than Eder? I think he is. Asensio? Maybe with Marcelo on the way out, he might be actually at the moment. Okay, here we go. Luka Modric. Right, sorry guys if I'm rumbling through these little pass now. I want to try and keep it under an hour. I think that's always a good way to go. Yeah, Modric. Yeah, again, you want to let Modric kind of decide what he wants, because he's been that good of a player and he's helped your team win so much. Just let him do what he wants. I mean, his contract's probably going to expire. I don't expect, I don't expect a 1 year extension to be offered, nor do I think they should. I think they need to move on. Clean slate. Modric, starting next year, he's going to be 36. I just think you've got to let him go. Right, Nacho. Nacho Fernandez. Jesus, he's 31. This is a guy who always feels like he's been about 36. You know what I mean? I don't really rate him. Not good enough for Real Madrid. Contract expires 2022. I know, academy, great, all this stuff. And I know there's going to be some changes at Real Madrid at the back there, but I don't think Nacho should be a part of it, especially at his age. So I'm going to say you just get rid here. Would you want 9 mil? Sure, but I don't think you're going to get it. So I think you move him up here. He's, you'd want him stuck around more, I think, than, Bale, Marcelo, and Modric. But let's be honest, not good enough player. If a Real Madrid fan wants to tell me different, great, please do. Right, let's see what I'll do with Zola. $9 mil, man. God, some of these low valuations for some of these players, I'm honestly a bit surprised at. 4 appearances this year, really hasn't overly been involved. I mean, obviously he's going to be a backup. 27 mil you signed for from Sociedad, loan to Bayern, and he's backing up. He's going to be a backup. I think that even if you do get above market value for somebody like, I'm actually a lot higher on Cruz sticking around than I think I first thought. Yeah, I mean, he's a backup. He can't be earning crazy money, you wouldn't expect. You're not going to give him a new deal anytime soon, and at a £9 million value, I just don't think you want the headache of having to get another replacement, a replacement fullback potentially, or a replacement defender to have to buy who's going to offer something different to him. Ramos. Okay, now this is interesting because we know that there are only 2 columns that this is going to be in. Sergio Ramos. I don't even know if he's going to be in the top few picks here because oh no, there he is. Man, 34. What happened? How old am I now? 26? Jesus. Okay. Contract expires this summer. Do you give him an extension? Do you let him go? Like I said, I think that there's so much in terms of changes at Real Madrid, and you know what? You just need to have the stones to say there's going to be changes. Who's going to step up? Let's not do anything crazy. But I don't think you want to be held hostage by somebody like Ramos. I like Sergio Ramos a lot. I still think he can offer, to the levels of Thiago Silva, Giorgio Chiellini. I put him in that category of older guys who still have plenty to offer. He's going to be 35 in, a month here. Let him go try his hand in the Premier League. Let him go play for PSG. Let him go do something else. Try and, Real Madrid need to start signing some defenders pretty quick. Letting Hakimi go was a mistake. They need to sign some centre backs who they like here going forward. Dude, I don't recognise half these people, honestly. I put them in the list myself, but we're going to have to, Reigner's one of them. Is that Reigner? Yeah, Reigner. Vinicius, Rodrigo, Vasquez, and Valverde. Okay, fine. Rafa Varane. So, I personally believe that Rafa Varane and his team, his whatever, they know how much kind of power he has, and he's kind of got Real Madrid a little bit over a barrel at this point. He's not the leader that Ramos is. He's not really even the defender that Ramos is. He's a little more passive, composed on the ball, rarely makes mistakes. Trust me, I'm looking at 63 mil as much as you guys are. I'm thinking, maybe you should sell. I think you need to extend his deal. And I think that because I think you need one of that back for, I know Carvajal, fine, Ferland-Mendy, fine, but somebody in the middle. You can't just have a completely fresh centre-back partnership. I don't always see that working. If somebody wants to come in with a £70 million bid for Rafa Varane, I guess let them. But similar to Toni Kroos, I see the money, but honestly, I think he's probably more important. I honestly think he's, up there with Kroos, Mendy, and Varane. They're three players who I think you want as starters going forward. And, I mean more Kroos and Varane there, who've been there a long time, but are still happy to be there. Hazard, obviously, you want it to see whether it's going to work out. Same for Odegaard. But I just don't think you want to go crazy saying that, if bids come in for all these guys, you should just accept them, Man, it's not easy. This list, honestly, this has definitely been the most challenging list. And I guess we'll have a look at the end and see how happy or sad we are with it. Right, 15 or so minutes left. All right, this is the Brazilian kid who's now on loan at Dortmund. Okay, 6 appearances, all off the bench for Dortmund. It's a 2-year loan. Okay, so that kind of makes our decision for us. Great. That's nice and easy. Don't have to scratch my head with that. Right, Rodrigo. See, these are the guys I was really excited for. Rodrigo in particular, but Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. I've seen so many great clips online. I know it's a terrible way to evaluate players, but Rodrigo just killing people. 11 appearances, 4 assists. I just don't think you can let him go. I know that's a lot of money, but he's still 20. In the minutes he has played, 4 assists in there. I don't think that's that bad. Position versatility, still a lot of years left on his contract. Rodrigo's value, you'd imagine, unless he does something drastic, is not going to drop because maybe next to Kroos. He's not going to drop like crazy in terms of his value if he has a couple more years similar to this. People are still going to see the upside, still see the potential. Right, Fede Valverde. I think this is actually, oh my God, he's valued at £63 million. Man, I was about to say this is an easy one, but maybe not. Man. Where does he get off costing that much? You got to keep him. One of the better performers this year for Real Madrid. Value. Can be 23, coming into 23 next year. Because the thing is, as much as I see that 63 mil and go, oof, here we go. If he's given that proper starting, rely on him starting role. Put him there. See, now I think a bit less of Odegaard as well. There we go. Oh man. I just don't think you can sell Hazard. I'm sorry, guys. I think you just got to let it ride out. Because at some point it will just click, and you'll want to be there and have him on your team when it does. So I thought it was Vasquez with an S, but apparently it's Vasquez with a Z. I didn't know that. 29 years old, valued at 13.5 mil. I mean, this guy's playing right back, centre mid, attacking positions. Contract expires at the end of the year. Oh shit. Okay. Man, I wasn't aware of that. I'm sure Real Madrid fans were aware of that. I wasn't aware of that. So my conversation, because look, 63% of the time starting 11, 63% of minutes, 14% goal contribution, 4 assists, 2 goals. I guess the problem here, and maybe the reason why he hasn't signed yet, is because maybe they're not offering him enough money. And I understand that, because you don't want somebody like Lucas Vasquez as your starter. You gotta try and keep him, don't you? I don't feel super strongly about it. I'd say, I know Benzema's kind of a wild card. You probably want to keep him. Yeah, you probably put him there because you want to keep. Ideally, you want to keep somebody like Vasquez. Just somebody who kind of fills those holes for you. But it's just not easy when a player's potentially going to feel disrespected. Oh. You don't want it when a player is going to feel disrespected like that. That's all I'd say. Vinicius Jr. 36 mil valuation. Okay. 20 years old still. 2 goals, 3 assists. Half the time in the starting 11. 53% of minutes. Man, what are these sounds coming from my laptop for? Anyway. Contract, 7-year deal and it's signed away. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. What is this? What are these messages going on here? I don't know what's going on my laptop right now. Sorry, people. Yeah, again, the experiment's got to continue. You don't want him getting away. Similar to Odegaard in many respects. And I think that I still think Odegaard has more potential to be more special. And then who the hell is this last guy? Excuse me, guys, as you see my screen here. Maybe I'll come full screen to make sure you don't see my deepest, darkest secrets. But I want to know who the hell this guy is in this picture, because clearly I don't recognize them. Oh, for God's sake, that's why. It's because they're garbage. Okay. Okay. Mariano Diaz. That's why. Damn. Okay, Mariano Diaz. Right. 27 years old. £9 million. Who cares? This guy's not going to be wanted by big teams. Lyon. Man, how'd they get 20 mil for this guy? Contract expires 2023. Yeah, you'd want over 9 mil, I think. Try and recoup some of the money that you paid. Yeah, maybe somewhere like there. Dude, Varane. Okay. How much? We got about 5 minutes. Okay, so here's what I'd say, guys. This is a weird. This was hard, and this is why I was so excited to do it, because it's really, really difficult. We've got 11 players roughly for release, or that you'd be open, I think, to the possibility of selling. And don't get me wrong, in the keep no matter what column, there's plenty of players I think that you'd want to say, hey, if the right offer comes in, we'd accept it. Varane is still valued at 63 mil. You can't tell me you're not tempted by a 70, 75 mil, sale up there with the Van Dijks and the Harry Maguires of the world. Guys, let me know what you think. Okay. Obviously, we've been going over this for an hour or so. Let me know. Any names surprising you here? Anybody I've kind of missed out that should be in a different column? Like I said, it's very, very clear. We had this guy, this joker, commenting on our Liverpool video. This does not mean that we're going to have 11 players out of the club. We're not going to just sell all these guys. When an offer comes in for these players, you consider it based on kind of the stances that I've put them into categories here, and then you move on from there. When a player is sold, you have a little bit of a reevaluation of your squad. Maybe certain players drop into list. Benzema's a great example. Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe comes in. Maybe it's time to move on from Benzema. Anyway, we'll leave that there. Guys, let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to continue doing more of these videos. If I've missed out on your team, you'd like me to do this for your team, please drop it in the comments. And obviously, it did get to a stage where I cut my own hair. WL, drop them in the comments section. Let me know how I did. But yeah, apart from that, this has been Box to Box Football. See you next time.